Bye-bye 2020. And while a lot of people are happy to see you go, I'm going to kind of miss you. You were a very good year for me. And I know that a lot of people suffered immensely this year. Immensely. Food banks, lineups for food banks, unemployment, small businesses, all that stuff. I totally am brokenhearted for you folks, man. It was a tough, miserable year. But for me, man, it was awesome. I think while everybody else were going along and sailing along and collapsed during 2020, I think I was collapsed, and this brought me out of a lot of things. I think my year started with the big thing is I did a bunch of stuff that I'd always wanted to do. And I think when you sometimes creative endeavors become obstacles that get stuck in your head and that hold you back from moving forward. And I think this year I was able to knock off a bunch of those creative obstacles, clear the path to move on to the next things. So my year started with skiing, got my ski chops back. I was always a really good skier, used to climb mountains, ski back down, and got my skiing back. While I was skiing, I was making videos. And I think that this year, one of the big things is my video making skills on this channel. While I'm not a Francis Ford Coppola just yet, I think they've improved, and there's a comfort level with what I create. I know what I create. I know how things are going to look. I push myself to get better, but the video making chops are there. I think the other thing this year, I made 63 songs, 63 soundtrack songs I wrote, composed, produced on my little garage band, wrote and used to sit back in soundtrack. So that's pretty good. I think there's a skill that I developed with that. There's a comfort with the music I write also. On that note, March 12th, March 14th, whatever day it was that we were told to go home and stay home, that's the day I started writing an album. My one goal for this year was to write and record an album. I did that. So next 8 weeks, I wrote and recorded an album that I'm happy with. You know, I didn't really know how it was going to turn out. And it's always different, but it's good. It's good. It's done. Next ones will be better. Because I finished that as early as I did, I was able to write some solo guitar pieces, learn Paganini. You know, back in the 90s, I used to learn classical music, but without YouTube, you have no outlet. So you kind of learn this stuff, and then it fizzles out. And it's hard to motivate yourself to really perfect this stuff without any audience, or, you know, you have to go perform, I guess. But so YouTube, the technology available today, enables me to learn this stuff, and Paganini probably was 3.5 months at, I would say, 3 hours a day. And that's a luxury that I had this year that I wouldn't have had any other years. So learning that, getting that down, you feel good about things, inspires you. Sleeping well. I mean, as soon as the economic, one of the things that I have is that economic imperative. You got to make money, and if you're not making money, and if you're broke and you're not making money, don't have fun. You can't go out and go skiing. You can't play music. You can't do any of this stuff because you're broke, and you got to convert your time and energy into making money rather than having fun. And there's a guilt associated with the having fun that I think until this year was hanging over everything, which leads to depression and all this other stuff. I think a lot of psychological problems have, as Mark said, everything's material. Everything's based on your material conditions. Anyways, when you feel guilty about having fun, you don't go out and have fun, which makes you feel more guilty, which makes you feel more depressed, more angry, all that other stuff. The mind is a funny place. Anyways, one of the other things I did this year, learned to fly a drone, which I think really helps my video making skills, which I think also is the future's robotics, the future's this technology, and I think getting in on the ground floor of that will serve me well in the future. Again, I think sleeping better, clearer head. I'm seeing opportunity. I'm seeing things now that I didn't see in January. It's been a really weird year for me in that sense. Now, I learned the skills before. I kept learning stuff years, and this year everything kind of came together and I was able to take off. I knew how to make music. I knew how to make videos. I knew how to, I've been playing guitar pretty seriously, pretty hard for 40 years now, but for the last for the last 3 years, been playing, really focusing on the music. So everything kind of came together, and I'm very fortunate at the time it did that it came together, and I was able to take the skill set and kind of soar with the things I did. I think that hopefully I can maintain this into 2021. I think that my advice for all the people who started the year strong and are now in that dark, unhappy place is you got to keep that momentum going forward. You got to keep baby steps, man. Baby steps, baby steps. I'm not going to sit here and say you'll always succeed. I don't buy into that stuff. But I think that you can't stagnate. You can't stop. You can't fall into a hole. You're better off to be crawling. It's a lot easier to be running from a crawling position than to climb out of a hole and then have to go through all that. So, find something every day to do, some joy, some little happiness in life. Push yourself forward. I'm no counselor. Don't really give a shit. I'm happy. I went through all that crappy stuff already. But keep forward momentum. You got to keep things moving forward no matter how slow. No matter how slow. If it takes you a month to do what you used to be able to do in a day, you got to take that month and do it. And be ready for when that next pandemic comes. Economics, I wouldn't worry about that too much. This is the third total economic collapse in the last 20 years. 99, 2008, 2020. It's I'm starting to see it as more a feature of our economic system rather than a bug. Maybe I'll get into that more in another video. Anyways, guys, 2020 was good for me. I very much hope to keep the momentum going. I'm going on to bigger and better things. I've cleared some hurdles. Now we kind of move up. We start eyeing the next thing above us. I have ideas. I have skills that I didn't have a year ago. And the old Mojo's back. So thank you, 2020. Thank you, COVID. I don't know if that makes me a bad person, but peace. Take care, guys. We'll do another one of these in a year and see where we end up. Talk to you later.